1-800-222-1222. 1-800-222-1222. If you think it might be poison, then the first thing you should do is call 1-800-222-1222. Poison is the kind of thing you're not supposed to touch. Old prescriptions, cleaning stuff, or spider bites and such. If you swallowed something bad or think you took too much, call the Poison Control Center hotline with the people you can trust.
For poison emergencies or just questions, the Poison Control Center hotline is here 24/7 with the expert help you need. Free and confidential. We hope you never need us, but keep our number by the phone.
1-800-222-1222. 1-800-222-1222. If you think it might be poison and you don't know what to do, call 1-800-222-1222.
A message from your Poison Control Center.
WKPW, Kingsport West, Washington, D.C.
The following is a presentation of unidentified entertainment and 22nd century radio. Manassas, Fairfax, Washington, D.C.
The situation is totally unacceptable.
Well, gentlemen, I guess that just about wraps it up. Where is the Ark? I thought we'd settled that. The Ark is somewhere very safe.
From whom?
The Ark is a source of unspeakable power, and it has to be researched. And it will be, I assure you, Dr. Brody, Dr. Jones. We have top men working on it right now.
Who?
Top men.
Tell us what'll happen if Obama wins. Give us the first day.
Oh, you asking me? Like,
well,
no, you asking me because I'm black? Or you just asking me? I don't know. I'm sure he'll check to see if we really have UFOs. That's what I would do.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing I do. Where the UFOs at?
That's got nothing to do with black.
That's got nothing to do with black. I'm like, okay. I was, you know.
I want the people to know that they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working for them, and that ain't bad.
But look, I don't want to be coy about this. We're a couple of weeks from an important election. Americans have a big choice to make, and if anybody feels like they don't know me by now, let me try to give you some answers. Who is Barack Obama? Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. I was actually born on Krypton and sent here by my father, Jor-El, to save the planet Earth. If I had to name my greatest strength, I guess it would be my humility. Greatest weakness, it's possible that I'm a little too awesome.
You're off the edge of the map, mate. Here there be monsters.
All right, kid, here's the deal. At any given time, there are around 1,500 aliens on the planet. Most of them right here in Manhattan. And most of them are decent enough. They're just trying to make a living.
Cab drivers.
Not as many as you'd think. Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
Imagine what you know tomorrow.
Now, back to Time and Space with your host, Mike Smith.
Why are you interested? And who are you to know so many things about that? And to look like as if you believe all this story means you believe it.
Well, okay. And as a matter of fact, an agency of the United States Air Force, the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, wrote a memo about me saying we have reason to believe that all of our units, some or all of our units, there are over 120 units of the OSL, would be receiving a Freedom of Information Act request from Stanton Friedman, they gave my address, concerning UFOs. If such a request is received, do not, repeat, do not respond as required by Air Force Regulation 12-30 Instead, respond as follows. All such requests must be submitted to the main office of the OSI. Now, if you get the regulation, what they're supposed to do when they get a request is find the information, send it to headquarters for review, and notify the requestor that they have found the information, thus revealing the existence of the information. What they were telling their units to do is don't tell them anything other than to talk to us, and we can tell them anything we want. Now, if there is nothing to cover up, why do you tell your people to violate their own regulations? I worked on classified programs for 14 years. I will absolutely guarantee you that secrets can be kept. I helped keep some. Furthermore, I've been to 15 archives, all kinds, in the United States and one in Canada. I have never yet seen special compartmented information. That's this extra word after the top secret, ultra, umbra, magic, whatever. Does that mean there isn't any such material? No, I asked at the Eisenhower Library, do you have any special compartmented information? Yes. This is in person, so we couldn't lie very easily. How much do you have? About a drawer full, file bill full. Can you search it for certain terms, magic and J12, things like that? No, it violates security. So, unless one has access to the special compartmented information, one will not get to the secrets. And despite all my looking, I have never seen any such material except that affidavit, and we don't even know what the word is after. So are secrets being kept? Absolutely.
All right, let me give you something real quick to look up before we call Tim. Here's what I wanted to do. Now this part won't. It'll be recorded, but it won't actually be on the call. And I'll call Tim here in just a second. Here's what I was trying to do. Was joke with him about his off-the-field problems. And what I wanted to do was to give him something to look positive, look forward to, have a more positive outlook. I wanted to compare Tim, without describing his off-the-field problems, to some of the major athletes that have been prosecuted for crimes in the past couple of years. For example, if Tim wants to sit around and moan and bitch and complain that his life situation is too difficult and he can't handle it, and has he been convicted of dogfighting? No.
I don't even think he's been convicted of cockfighting.
As far as
maybe we
might want to ask him that. We might want to ask him that. Last time I checked, he hadn't walked into any nightclubs and shot himself. Okay, so what I'm doing...
You know, I think Plaxico just got confused, and he said he was ordering a shot, and so... Or maybe he heard somebody ordered a shot.
Round of shots! Duh.
I don't know.
So what I was hoping you could do real quick, if you could throw a couple of those in, since you're probably a little faster than I am at looking the stuff up anyway, not just because
anything is faster than your computer.
Apparently it is. It's pretty pathetic. But I'll try to get Tim on the phone here in a second. I was just wondering if we could do any better than just Burris and Vic. I mean, who else am I forgetting?
Oh, geez.
That's what I'm saying. There's a laundry list.
You know, how far back do you want to go? Ray Caruth murdered his girlfriend and his unborn child.
Okay, so wow. All right, so
and he's currently in jail for life in Carolina.
So again, the question to Tim would be: are you in jail for life for murdering your girlfriend and
unborn child? Unborn child.
And the answer, of course, from Tim would, we
think, is no.
So
because we don't know if they give you a cell phone in
right.
jail for
I want to see how long we can keep this going with him, but you got to come up with a couple more. I know that there's shootings. You got a couple good steroid ones. We got Manny. You know, were you busted for whatever he was busted for? I don't want to just say steroids. I'd like to come up with a name.
He didn't do any time. He just lost his career for 50 years.
And neither did Tim. So he's got that going for him.
Barry Bonds.
Oh,
he still thinks Barry still thinks Barry can play, even though Balco.
Nice.
Um.
All right, so I'll let you dig around a little bit and try to.
Probably Wikipedia has
do
this.
I would think so. And I'm going to see.
They have Solomon Grundy.
I'm going to see how well this works on this laptop.
African American John Stewart.
Yes. Very nice.
Which is hilarious. There's a beeping.
I don't know what the heck that is. What in the world?
Tim Kirk speaking.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Smith.
I also have Howard here on the line.
Howard, fine. How are you?
All right. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
We were trying to call you with a couple of different things. We, of course, wanted to just generally check in on you and give you some positive reinforcement and all that kind of thing, and also wanted to talk to you about this little latest game that we had come up with that we thought would be a lot of fun for you to try. But first and foremost, how have you been?
I have been excellent the last week or so.
Now, you said you had another relative or family friend? This is a family friend?
Yes, it is a family friend.
I see. And another passing, unfortunately?
There has been a close family friend, in fact, a nurse who used to work at Episcopal High School, in fact.
Oh.
He a nurse there for 25 years, who recently passed away, who had two sons. She had adopted a daughter who had disappeared for 40-something years, and when she discovered that her adopted mother had passed away, came to collect her inheritance, and found out that she was left the total sum amount of 4 quarters, $1.
So that's less than Barack Obama won for winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
That's correct. That's correct.
I just wanted to get that out there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's absolutely correct.
So you're trying to document the fact that somebody was left $1.
That's correct.
Wow.
She had two sons that she actually gave birth to.
You got to go out of your way to hurt somebody's feelings like that.
She adopted
I hope
a
she
daughter.
doesn't intend on spending that all in one place.
When she realized that she didn't think that she couldn't give birth to children, and she adopted a daughter, and at the age of 18, this woman disappeared, and now 42 years later, she's reappeared, trying to collect her sum, and in her will, she was left the sum of $1.
That is amazing.
I have a serious question. Okay, does she know what the brothers were left in the will?
The brothers were split 50-50.
And how much money did this woman leave?
I would say in the neighborhood of $700,000 each.
Which is combined the amount that Barack Obama won
We're back
for
to
the
that.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Today we'll be doing 6 degrees of separation.
Yes.
Jeez.
That would be correct.
Wow. You could have thrown the lady a bone, and you don't want to give her the same amount. That's
what she did. One bone.
One bone. Yeah. Uno de laro.
Well,
here. Why didn't you just give her a $10 Target gift card and send her on her way?
The said adopted daughter was left a sum of $1, and the executor of her estate, who has been staying at our house for the last 2 days, basically sent her a note with 4 quarters in it saying, "Enjoy. Here's your inheritance." And it's been going pretty much.
That is amazing.
Wow.
It's been pretty much going on and on since then. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Hey now.
That's
excellent.
Did you know? So the,
Put
so
that in
this-
your pipe and smoke it.
So the executor sent. Did he tape the quarters on the piece of paper? I don't want them to fall out of the envelope. You're not. He could have put it in a. He could have put it in a check because technically you're really not supposed to send money, cash money
That's right.
in the mail.
That's right.
Something might happen to it.
Wow.
Oh, he could have, but he wanted to totally humiliate her and say that, look, you've been out of our lives for 48 years.
Why didn't he just chop off somebody's middle finger and send that? I mean, come on.
I told him he should have sent her 100 pennies and just said, here's your dollar.
See, now you're just being. Now that you're just,
Yeah.
you're going overboard on that.
You're just crossing the line, man. That's too bad.
Well, hey, I mean,
golly.
Do you know
look,
this woman?
You don't treat family like that.
Do you know this woman?
She was my nurse when I was 5 years
Oh.
old. She used to give me allergy shots. I used to run across the street as soon as I
Do you
came
know
home
the?
from
Did you
school,
know the
and
mom?
She was a nurse at Episcopal High School for 23 years.
So wait. You knew the mom and the stepdaughter?
No, the mom.
You knew the mom, but you didn't know the daughter.
No, I never knew the daughter. I
Gotcha.
never
okay,
met her.
Okay. I'm trying to.
Never.
I've got a graph right here, and I'm drawing lines.
Yeah.
trying to piece everything together.
And
I had a dotted line there for
I think
Tim.
Acorn's connected in here somehow.
Right.
All right, here's
there's
the
money
deal.
involved, and it's missing.
And so, yeah, of course, we were like, yeah, sure, go on in.
Howard was just trying to tie in the maybe an alternative motive for the dollar.
I came across something on the Financial Times website, and I'll just read the headline. I won't give you all the detail behind it, but apparently the rock group Asia steps in to support the dollar. So maybe this has something to do with it.
You know what? I didn't know you meant the rock group.
What did you think I meant?
I thought you meant like Asian countries.
No,
are
it says
stepping up.
Asia steps in
I
to
didn't
support
know
the
you
dollar.
meant Asia, the rock group.
Well, who else would step in?
Night Ranger?
I don't know. I mean, Asia.
Def
It says
Leppard?
Asia steps into. Maybe they are talking about the country. Asia steps in to
Yes,
support
the
the
country
dollar.
of Asia.
Howard, what was Asia's hit song?
Heat of the Moment.
Can you sing it for us?
I actually have it on
Please don't.
iTunes.
Please don't.
I have that on iTunes, believe it or
you
not. Yes, I do.
Wow.
I really do, and I have the other one too.
And he's not afraid to use it.
No, I like those. I like Asia. Asia,
Wow.
they were big with the Fix and all that.
All right, so
What was the other? There was another. They had another big hit too, besides Heat of the Moment, and I'm kind of going brain dead on that. Heat of the Moment and Only Time Will Tell.
oh yes, I remember
Heat of the
that.
moment I'm aware of. Heat of the moment I'm aware of.
Oh jeez. All right, Kirk.
They had
let-
some really cool videos for those two songs.
Let me.
They had one of them had a gymnast in a white little leotard.
Hey now.
Jumping over some stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not the moon though. Didn't jump over the moon.
All right, so let me change subjects here real quick, Kirk. Let me ask you about this because I came up with this the other day, and I sent one of my memos over to Howard and to Faye. I don't think I got any feedback from Faye, but Howard gave me some pretty expected feedback about, is this legal or are we going to get anybody in trouble or anything? Which I don't think so. It certainly isn't the.
I mean, we're going to be sitting here and not doing it, so it's not going to bother us.
Well, there is that. It's it's not. We're not talking Opie and Anthony going to St. Patrick's Cathedral by any stretch of the imagination, but
Sure.
I think you'd get a real kick out of this. So let me try to set this up for you. Let's say that you're starting from your house, and we're going to keep track of time in like soccer time. So first minute, third minute, 27th minute, however
Yep.
long, and you could pick any time of day, it would seem, in almost any direction from your house. Certainly, eastbound would probably be the better bet on Old Keene Mill. But the bit I can't. It's the simplest name I was able to come up with is that's a fine piece of driving. What I'm looking for is really for you to just head out on your cell phone, call us, and report in when you've seen a piece of driving that is just that remarkable. I'd like to go back for one example to the night that you and I were at the Exxon at Old Keene Mill and rolling, and watched the woman start with the left-hand turn out going the wrong way on Rolling Road, then making a U-turn at the traffic light to then go the wrong way in the other lanes until she figured out that
she's covering all bases.
Then she made a U-turn in those lanes.
Right.
Go back
Oh,
and then made a left-hand turn on red.
There must be something about
Traffic
there must be something about that area, because when I drove for Domino's in that area, I was based out of the Backlick store off of Old Keene Mill Road.
Right.
And some lady, she made a left turn onto Commerce Street from Old Keene Mill and went the entire distance up past that little library on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. See,
The
now here,
wrong
now let me
side
finish.
of the road.
Let me finish the story.
You know
Kirk,
what I'm talking
because
about, Kirk, right?
I got you all trumped, though. I got you trumped.
All right, let me stop you and let me finish this part real quick. Assuming that you and I are out, we're watching. We've reported this back in. What I'd really like to do, and you got to use good judgment here, obviously, for a lot of different reasons. Time of day and all those other types of things are going to make a big difference. But what would really be impressive would be to follow the person. Let's say that this is just some silly old lady that's making these wrong turns. She finally keeps driving and finds her way to a CVS parking lot or something. And at a very minimum, we get out and we give her some sort of a brochure, or maybe we just hold up a sign that says "nice driving." Or we go ask her, what was that? We just saw 4 straight illegal U-turns. I've never seen that before.
You guys would have, if you're going to approach people, you might want to have Faye with you and his gun.
Yeah, first of all, we got to definitely use discretion. Secondly, we're not trying to report people to the police. It's not like we're looking for names or license plate numbers to give out to anybody. But just the humor of, hey, look, I'm sitting in my car right now and I'm following somebody. I'm watching them drive on the wrong side of the road. So keep that one in mind. That it's a fine piece of driving. That's a fine piece of driving.
Did I tell you about the time my brother was driving when he lived in Caroline County, and he left Arlington he worked midnights, and he left Arlington at 5 a.m. heading southbound on a Friday night.
Okay.
Okay, so this was Saturday morning early.
Sure.
Okay, he got out to Old Keene Mill Road, and he kept on going, and he's in his civilian. At this point, he was in his Pontiac Grand Am.
Right.
And the car in front of him, he notices heading southbound, is weaving severely.
Okay.
He followed this drunk driver for the next 40 miles on the phone with the Virginia State Police while they tracked him down.
Nice.
While they caught up to him, because I guess there wasn't a unit in anywhere.
Right.
And they said, "Well, how do you know you can follow this guy?" And he goes, "Look, he was talking to the dispatch. I live in Caroline. Assuming this guy doesn't exit, I'm here for a while."
He's heading to my house. Nice.
They were like, "Well, are you sure you should be doing this?" And he said, "Look, I'm a cop from Arlington County.
Right.
I am not going to try to pull this person over, but this person is a danger. He is swerving all over the road."
Absolutely.
This was at 5 a.m.
Well, and that's the kind of thing I'd like to see, Kirk. I'd love to see the occasional. If we do it long enough, we do it enough times over the course of a few episodes, you're bound.
I got a great story for you today.
I was just going to say, you're bound to find somebody. So yes, you said you had something that would trump.
At West Springfield High School, my alma mater, class of '92. Apparently, somebody of I don't know what class decided to throw a rock through one of the windows, saying that there's a bomb inside of West Springfield High School. And at 11:30 this morning, the entire school was dismissed. I'm in the process of going to get fuel for my gas, and I'm wondering why there are hundreds and hundreds of kids coming out of West Springfield High School. They're clearly freshmen, sophomores.
Okay.
There's sheriff's department everywhere.
Wow.
and there's a woman in front of me.
You know, I hate to say it, but in this day and age, that's not a good setup for something. I mean, you don't want to see that at any school, but go ahead.
I'm not trying to be biased, but a woman of Asian descent in a minivan on the cell phone nearly took out about 10 of these kids. At the intersection of Rolling Road and Old Key Mill Road.
Yep.
Right at that 7-Eleven. They all tried to run and book across and get across the light, and this woman was not paying attention at all.
No
and
kidding.
She nearly took out about 10 of these kids.
So what you're saying is the kids running across the street looked like lights with the cockroaches with the lights being flipped on? Just kind of scattered
Basically,
everywhere?
Just scattering. See, and if you're around and you follow that lady and see where she heads over to, you know, when she gets over to the H Mart to go purchase, you know, whatever cabbage product she needs for dinner that night.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, she's driving her Honda, whatever minivan they're producing now, on her cell phone, you know, with her glasses on and her hair teased up to the moon, and she's not paying any attention whatsoever. And there's about 25 kids running right across the intersection, and she just guns it as soon as the light hits green. And, you know, you took out about 12 kids.
I'm sure that the lighting and adverse weather conditions that we had today must have played into it. What time of day was this?
Was this today? I missed the first
I don't know. It was just about 80 degrees and completely clear skies. Maybe
Was this, when was this, today?
You know.
When was this? I
This
missed
was today.
Oh,
This
okay,
was
okay,
today.
okay.
This was today at 11:30 this morning.
Well, you know, the only thing I
11:30. It was pretty cloudy at 11:30.
You know,
Just bear with me for a second while I try to add him in here.
You know, I can tie something else into this
it.
too. I got a news story that says a blind driver hits 200 miles per hour and wants to go 500 miles per hour.
On.
Please enjoy the music while your party is reached.
200 miles an hour.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, he just called me.
What did he call you?
That's a good question.
Oh?
Hey, man.
Hey, sorry, man. I think I just hung up on you. Hello?
It's all good. I'm trying to call you on Skype, and you're trying to call my cell phone.
Mr.
Fay. Sorry, I was checking my text messages, and you called me.
Can you hear Tim?
Mr.
I
Fay.
think I can hear Tim. I can hear somebody. Tim.
This is your captain speaking.
What's up, Captain?
How you doing, Mr. Fay?
Living the dream, buddy.
Aaron go Brock.
Paradise. Yeah, Aaron go Brock. How about this, Kim, huh?
Yeah, you sound good.
You sound real good.
Oh, yeah.
Clear.
Yeah.
Are you
Nice
clear?
and clear?
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just relishing.
me.
I'm relishing in the world
Going
we
to-
live in. Cause
Going into 7-Eleven in a rural area, and it is full of rural people. Real people.
Well,
hey, why don't you go up to one of them and ask him, how about that Barack Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize?
Hey, I'm telling you, man, you know, I like it when they give out awards to people that haven't actually done anything yet. I'm thinking they should just give the World Cup to the USA right now.
I
'cause we're
agree.
trying.
I couldn't agree more.
You know,
I think I could have won the Nobel Prize.
I thought you did win the Nobel Prize.
That's next
I didn't
year.
vote for Obama, but, I mean...
Well, you know, he was on the job, on all honesty, for 10 days when he got nominated. So, you know,
It was a hard 10
it
days.
was a hard 10 days. He's probably curing lepers right now.
Certainly was.
Tell me,
He's
man.
just carrying them around, one on each shoulder.
Right. you
That's
know.
great.
You know, when I was a kid, they only had like 3 flavors of Slurpees.
Yeah, no. Now they have like the Slurpee bar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got like Mango, Crush, Fruit Loop.
When's the
You
last?
know.
Well, when's the last time you were in a 7-Eleven in like Pennsylvania?
Probably a year ago.
Okay, what's like one of the first things that you buy in a what are the big things that you go into 7-Eleven and buy?
Jack's.
No, seriously. You know,
cigarettes.
You go buy cigarettes. What else do you buy?
I get a big giant super big gulp.
You buy
Mountain Dew.
beer.
Oh,
Beer.
Crud.
Okay, well, what's the problem with going to a 7-Eleven in Pennsylvania? They don't sell beer.
The same problem you have in Maryland. They don't
Really?
sell beer. Yeah.
Yeah, the
they
same
don't?
problem I have in
See, I never
Maryland.
go to
There's no beer
7-Eleven.
in 7-Eleven in Maryland.
You can't?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Damascus right now. There's no beer at all.
There's no beer at all. That's
I'm in a dry town.
Is it
brother. I
really?
mean,
Right, yeah.
I'm in a dry town. I can't get beer anywhere.
Right.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
That's right.
We were
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania. We went to we were driving up to Canada, and we're like, oh, we can't get
Why?
out. Why did we go to Canada?
Yes,
That's a
that
good
was the
story,
question.
It was a family vacation. Took the kids up to Ottawa. It was really nice.
Oh, good. Okay. Nice. All right.
So
Did you give me free healthcare?
no, but I got a free vacation. Does that count?
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, you should have done something
We were
worthwhile.
on the,
like
we
broke
were on
your
the
foot
Quebec
or,
River.
injured yourself somehow.
I was in Quebec. It was really cool. You go across the border. You go between the two provinces, between Ottawa or between Ontario and Quebec. And in Quebec, in Ottawa, the street signs are in English and French. You know you're in Quebec
No
because
Spanish?
everything is in French. I mean, everything.
Okay.
So they've got these little turtle crossings next 5 kilometers, and it's in French, and you're looking at these poor little turtles on the street sign. But I liked my time in Ottawa and Quebec.
The French can bow down, okay?
Damn frogs.
French can bow down.
That's not very nice.
So.
Well,
I enjoy
what have
street
the French
signs
ever
in
done
France.
for us? What have the French ever done for us?
Faye, I was just trying to explain to Tim that I had come up with a new game to try to play on the radio show where you drive around until you see somebody doing something really stupid in a car. Terrible piece of driving. I think you may have seen the email. And then pretty much we could just go stalk and heckle them.
So what's the game last? About a minute?
Before they get shot?
Something to that effect.
I mean, I haven't even left the parking lot yet, and I mean, I could probably point out 5 people doing something.
You're playing the game properly.
Hey, you live in
right? Yeah.
Oh, I know what this game is.
I mean, really, just
it's America's favorite daytime fun show. Let's make a dope deal.
I mean,
he is in a rural part of it.
Faye, just so you know,
I'm in America, dude. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here right now, and I'm in America, man. There's a dude sitting out in front of the 7-Eleven, and he's not somebody looking for a handout or whatever. He's just a dude sitting there with a big old chaw in, with overalls on, and he's just chilling, dude.
That's America.
Does he have
he's
summer
chewing
teeth?
his chaw. It's Friday night at the Gas and Sip,
Does he have summer teeth?
Howie and Smith, just hold on a second. This is just me and Faye. Faye, our class of 92, senior year, we had a bomb threat.
Yeah.
What happened? They took us out of the school. We sat outside the school for an hour.
Oh, yeah, and then we left and went and got beer.
Right. Same thing happened today at 11:30, and they let the entire school completely out. Everybody at like 11:30 this morning.
Well, yeah,
of course. I'm driving up.
Yeah, that way they can save money.
And I'm driving up to get gas, and the entire student body of West Springfield is completely out of school. And I'm wondering why all these freshmen and sophomores are walking around. And I'm like, why the hell aren't they in school?
They're redistributing education.
Well, let me ask you something. They said that somebody threw a rock through West Springfield Elementary or something. Like, okay, where is West Springfield Elementary?
Any idea?
No, West
Springfield?
No. I heard on the radio today up here, okay, that West Springfield had a bomb threat, and that it started because somebody threw a rock through a window at West Springfield Elementary.
I don't know where West
Which
Springfield
they said was right next to West Springfield High School. And I'm sitting here driving to Maryland like, there is no West Springfield Elementary near West Springfield High School. Is there?
No, it's like down by
North
like
Springfield?
Plaza.
That's North Springfield, right?
Oh, is it the one that's across the street from Springfield Plaza? No, that's
right
not even an
behind-
operational
it's right
school
behind
anymore.
where I live. It's in the It's right off Greeley Boulevard, right behind where I live. Right up Old Key Mill Road.
Behind the country club.
No, that's Cardinal Forest.
Yeah, right
behind.
behind.
I know what you're talking about. All right, okay.
Right
All
behind,
right, check.
behind the country club. Exactly, right behind the country club. Right.
Hey, I just saw a guy go through an intersection in reverse. I'm not kidding, dude. This guy just went 2/3 the way through an intersection, stopped, and put it in reverse and back into Safeway's parking lot.
And that's how you play. That's a fine piece of driving.
Oh, wow.
We have a winner.
That was awesome. And I think he was on his cell phone while he did it.
All right, so can we get just a basic make and model of the car and where exactly you are located right now?
He said he was in Damascus.
I'm in Damascus, Maryland. I just turned onto 124 from 108.
Can I guess? Is it a hoopty?
And I believe that it was a Honda Civic type vehicle. I don't know, and it's kind of dark out, and I was coming up a hill. But it was a small Honda Civic. It had purple running lights underneath it.
Oh,
stylish,
luxuriating.
So we're talking about somebody going backwards through a red light is what you're.
Yes,
what
made it 2/3 of the way through the intersection. Maybe halfway. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Stopped, put it in reverse, and back into the parking lot they came out of.
Wow.
And remember, this is a dry town, so
yeah.
I mean, they can't even blame it on alcohol.
You can't even get a cup of water in that town.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm drinking a Slurpee right now. It tastes just like mango.
So what you're suggesting is that this driver was very likely sober making this maneuver.
Right.
You wouldn't go that far.
Yes. Right.
Wow. Excellent.
Right.
All right. Well, this has been Mike Fay and Tim Kirk joining us for the inaugural edition of That's a Fine Piece of Driving on Time and Space Episode 3. That was very impressive. And you were right. That was about, fourth, fifth minute after you'd gotten back in the car.
There you go.
That is spectacular. So for the final thing, since
I have to chip in the one moment that the soccer moms, football moms, baseball moms, softball moms, whoever drives a minivan, mom, that decides that their kid is an honorary student at their elementary school.
Right.
Yes.
Lose those decals, okay? Because if you're not making good grades in elementary school,
right,
you don't need to know about it.
Well, not only that, but could we put any more pressure on our children?
Well,
right.
Thank you.
And you know what? They shouldn't even have an honor roll in elementary school. It's like pass-fail, right?
Exactly.
What do you get, like an unsatisfactory or a satisfactory?
That's
or like
Prince William County.
Excellent? You know, I mean, what's the problem there?
Wow.
We have in K through 2 in Prince William County, it's S's, S pluses, and S minuses.
Right. I mean, if you don't zip yourself up and you're in your drawers coming out of the little boys' room in first grade, you get a satisfactory.
I mean, Smith, Howard, you guys, Faye, I mean, you got Emily, I mean, you guys have youngins that you're looking after. I mean, do you drive around on your cars advertising that, oh yeah, my kid is...
I have a series of stickers, actually. I have a sticker that says my first grader got a purple card, which I think that's for exceptional behavior.
If you have a sticker that represents your school, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But
on the back of my
big,
car,
gigantic bumper sticker that says, "Oh yeah, my kid's an honor student at, blah 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 middle school."
Right.
On my, I
Who
have a
the
bumper.
hell cares?
I have a bumper sticker on my car that says, "My juvenile delinquent beat up your honor roll student at Cedar Point Elementary School."
There you go. There you go.
I have a bumper sticker on my car that says, "My teenage freshman daughter isn't coming anywhere near your son." Right? So that's it, right there.
Bingo,
that's all I care about right now, dude.
Bingo, there it is.
No, she can get C's in school as long as she doesn't come home and say, "You're a 35-year-old granddad."
Those magic words.
You know what I mean? I got priorities.
Very nice.
Right.
I mean, I don't need to be Grandpa Fay.
Wow.
Disco, boys.
Yeah.
Disco. Absolutely.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Good times, man.
Faye, I was going to send you a sticker to put on your car that said, "My daughter's been in school for 10 days and she just won the Nobel Peace Prize."
Yeah, exactly. My daughter just finished high school orientation, and they gave her her diploma.
They would need 30 advertisements first.
You know, back when I was at the University of Houston, there was a fraternity there, and it was called, I believe it was the Teeks, Tau Kappa Epsilon.
Right.
They
Cow
actually
tipping what?
Tau Kappa Epsilon.
Cow tipping Epsilon.
Right.
Sorry, my
They
bad.
actually initiated their rushees after 2 weeks.
Wow.
Nice.
I do not know if they
Nice.
still do that.
Yes, but was there a $1.4 million prize to go along with it?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, did they have a stimulus for the fraternity, or
Yeah.
how'd that work?
Yeah, it's called a
No.
sorority.
It was called a sorority. That's right.
Yeah, we had to
And they were
bail out
freshman
the
high
we had to
school
bail out
girls
the
in
Greek
there.
system.
Wow.
You know, with a $1.7 trillion bill
That is
to
exceptional.
bail out the Greek system so that it could continue to make loans for frat houses.
All right, I'd like to sneak in just real quick one totally different thing for another one of the bits that we had wanted to fool with, because I'm running out of time on this recording, and I'll let you guys go anyway. I've had Kirk on the phone for almost 40 minutes anyway.
Doorknob.
While Howard was over here last week or the week before doing takes of the intro and bumpers and stuff, we stumbled across this thing where we were going to do this bit with you, Faye. We had talked about the special of the day, and also something I like to call how do I cook that, and something about the way that Howard was saying it was cracking me up. But I did have I wanted to try a couple of sample questions here. For example, if we took a couple of probes and launched them at a crater in the moon and smashed into the moon as hard as we could and found a lake under there, and there were fish in that lake, how would you cook those fish?
I would cook those fish by taking the Hubble telescope and turning it back on itself and cooking them with X-rays or B-rays or, I don't know, quarks or protons
That's
or
good
something fancy like
improvisation.
that.
I like that.
But I think that, that in Canada, they would definitely find a way to cook those, probably by, like, I don't know, they'd bury them and let it rot.
I see.
I have a
Just
question.
let it rot for a while, pull it out of the ground, and just eat it.
Isn't that
Eat
called
it straight,
kimchi?
because if you get sick, they're going to take care of you.
Oh, right.
You're listening to Time and Space on 22nd Century Radio.
Yeah. No, this guy's like totally climbing up my caboose, man. I can't see his lights.
That's pretty bad.
Did he at least give you his phone
Sorry.
number?
I digress. I can't give you the make of car, but it's definitely an American car. It's definitely an American car. It's got square headlights. I'm going to say a 1980s Pontiac.
Right.
I'm not sure. I
See,
forgot what we were
the
talking
Oldsmobile
about.
is parked
I was
outside.
trying to play a defensive driver here.
What movie?
All right, and finally, I don't remember.
Fletch.
Oh, yes.
Hey, my girlfriend's calling me.
Ooh,
Yeah?
What's she calling you?
All right, for
I
our
don't know.
last for our
Probably
last
pretty bad names because I keep ignoring her.
for our last thought on how do I cook that, what exactly do you think that Obama was probably enjoying at his Nobel Prize reception? What's the appropriate food for a reception like that?
I heard it was chicken salad.
I don't know, dude.
I heard it was chicken salad.
Chicken salad?
I don't know.
I heard it
Yeah?
was chicken salad.
The answer is Chicago deep dish pizza.
Oh, see, now I was going to go with a nice Iranian couscous dish, followed by a nice falafel, and maybe some chicken, chow mein.
Excellent. That's why you're the
With a
executive
little
chef.
Would that be? How about steak tartare without the tartare sauce?
Oh, I mean, you got to get the Szechuan influence in there with your Persian
That's right.
food. It's very, very important right now because it's all about the peace, man.
That's right.
It's all about peace. It's all about backing up, backing
Excuse me,
out.
did you say peas? Like peas and carrots?
No, that's not what he said.
Oh.
Peace of what?
Peas and
Little
carrots.
onion, carrot, celery.
And a bottle, a nice bottle of
little
Chianti.
falafel. I love falafel, man. You got to have a good falafel.
Faye, we're going to let you go, man.
And a nice Chianti.
Nice bottle of Chianti.
And some fava beans.
Fava beans, like that.
Nice.
Dude, there's a goat. There's a goat in the road. Down the road.
Yeah. Hey, Faye.
Dude, there's a goat in the road. Yeah, I'm still here. There's a goat. Okay, that's moving now.
Goat?
There's a goat in the
I
road.
think that's what he just said.
I think you should try for the UFL, man. I think you can make it. I think you can make a team, dude.
Yeah.
I think you can make a UFL team, dude.
Did you say a UFO team?
UFL.
Yeah, I could play on the Las Vegas. What are they? The Las Vegas Rapids or something? What were they? The Las Vegas
Locomotive.
What were they?
There's only 4 teams, man. You know how to play football, dude. I know you can step in and play with one of them teams. I know you can play with one of those teams.
I'll wait for Universal Healthcare on that one, man.
Rhinos and the Las Vegas Locomotives.
The Locomotives. Yeah.
Well, listen,
Adopt a road.
I appreciate you guys joining us. We'd like to try to do this on a more frequent basis. I figure this is a very simple and easy way to have you guys on without, having Faye have to drive down or Kirk dealing with his off-the-field issues. Kirk, I was actually going to do a bit here with Howard to try to explain to you that your situation wasn't so bad, because if you compare yourself to other professional athletes who have had various issues and problems, you have to consider that, for one example, I don't think that you've recently walked into a Manhattan nightclub and shot yourself. So you got that going for you.
This is true. Right.
For that matter, you haven't been in jail for 2 years for dog fighting. I don't think you've been in jail for 2 years for cockfighting.
No.
No, not the last time I checked, no.
We were actually putting a list together of athletes to compare you to or whatever. We just didn't get that far into it.
In honor of I don't think you've been, busted on a Texas highway for, having 500 pounds of drugs in your car.
No, I mean,
Nate Newton.
I haven't pulled like a Nate Newton or nothing like that. I mean,
No, that's true, man. I mean,
you got a lot
you got to win to have people pay attention to you, though. So you don't have to worry about the Redskins getting busted.
All right, we don't need to get into a Redskins discussion. That's fine. All right, listen, we'll cut you guys loose, man. Howard wants to get out of here anyway. He stayed longer than he was going to. So I appreciate the help, and we'll certainly talk more, at a later juncture here and get this going on. So.
All right, well, remember what I always say.
Yep.
It's another day in paradise, man.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
Couldn't agree with you anymore.
All
right, gentlemen. Thanks
Peace
for joining
there,
us.
Gentlemen.
We will talk to you
Got
soon.
All right. See you
later.
Out.
All right, guys.
I'll see you guys later, man.
Take it light.
I got wildlife in my way. I'll see you.
You got to watch out for
All
the
right,
goats.
bye.
Bye.
Let's go. See ya.
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
Is he driving in a third world country?
I don't know where he's driving. I'm afraid to ask where he's driving.
And I am working
Unbelievable.
on Sunday. Shit.
Wow. Well, that was our executive chef, Mike Fay, and our one of our assistant producers, or whatever title we're going to use for him this week, Tim Kirk. And this would conclude a very long hour, too, with that phone call kind of busted up, because the recording would stop and I'd have to restart it for a minute. But certainly proves our worth on Skype, on which we probably just spent $5. So that's awesome.
And it's unfortunate that they're not on a computer, because Skype to Skype is free.
Yes, that's correct. So. It's not that bad. I'll see how much this turns out to be. The call to Faye was 26 minutes. The call to Kirk had to be close to like 40.
Something like that, yeah.
So, all right.
Exopolitics and Ufology, Religion and Science, Time and Space. Hosted by Mike Smith.
This is Time and Space, hosted by Mike Smith.
News team, assemble!
Yes, apparently the mouse was like, hey kids, maybe we should do some journalism.
The chief astronomer at the Vatican says believing in aliens doesn't necessarily mean not believing in God. In yesterday's Vatican newspaper, the Reverend Jose Gabriel Funes said, quote, just as we consider earthly creatures as a brother and sister, why should we not talk about an extraterrestrial brother? It would still be part of creation. Father Joe Brando of St. Jude's Catholic Church agrees.
Yes, there can easily be in this
gigantic creation of God, and beautiful, magnificent thing, that it would kind of seem to be sort of odd that only one planet in this whole kind of thing had any kind of life.
But for Catholics to know it's okay to believe in aliens, Dr. Robert O'Bannon, a Lee University professor who teaches on the subject of science and religion, says first, you must prove aliens exist.
You could say that about anything. I mean, whether aliens or anything you want to say, you use that expression. And in a sense, God can do what he wants to do, but he's not going to lie about it, and he's not going to contradict himself.
375 years ago, the astronomer Galileo was tried as a heretic by the Catholic Church for his theory that the Earth revolved around the sun. The Church believed the Earth was at the center of the universe. And now, with the Vatican's chief astronomer claiming that aliens are God's creation, you have to wonder if there's some sort of evolution taking place in Rome.
And right now, I think it's kind of great that a statement like this can be made, somebody could pick up on it, and get to realize that this face of the Vatican that we had really isn't quite as bad as it really was.
Then there is what could only be a bizarre coincidence or something else.
We could not talk life and other planets without the classic clip from E.T. right there. Interestingly, the Vatican. Just finishing up is the Vatican now, a 5-day conference on aliens. Father Jonathan Morris, Fox News contributor, back with us. Father, good morning to you.
What a great movie that was.
It was a wonderful movie. Drew Barrymore, and off she went. Did the Vatican find alien life?
You know what? As sensationalistic as that question sounds, it's really not that far off from what we've seen in the news over these last days. The pictures of what might have been Pope Benedict standing on the roof of the Sistine Chapel looking for UFOs, that's the type of images that this news conjures up. What is exceptional is that the Vatican was taking very seriously what science might tell us about the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligent life forms. That's what the conference was about. I can't tell you that the Vatican found any alien life. I don't think that's what they were looking for, but they were taking very seriously the issue.
You know the history, just like we do. I mean, they've come a long way since Galileo 400 or 500 years ago. Well, what do you think it says about the Church that it's actually looking at this issue?
Well, a great question, Bill. What it says is that although there have been some inglorious moments of relationship of faith and science, the Vatican, and not just Catholics, Christians in general, they brought 30 of the best scientists, the astrobiologists, of the cosmologists, of the astronomers, to tell the philosophers and the theologians what they already know about the possibility of something that could happen. Now, what they're trying to do is get out of the story, get out ahead and say, what if we were to find life outside of this planet? What does that tell us about the doctrine of original sin, of Adam and Eve? And the point here is that we have to allow science to lead us in what is their field, without going into it with ideology saying we know that God doesn't exist.
I think that's a great point. Now, you as a Roman Catholic priest, you're open to science, is what you're saying, correct?
Without a doubt, not only open, Bill, but we have to respect science in its own field.
How would it change the Church's teaching then? Well, if you consider for a moment, if you determine that there is extraterrestrial life there.
Well, one thing would be fascinating would be not only extraterrestrial life, but if there were extraterrestrial intelligent life forms. That would definitely make us go back and say, maybe our understanding of perennial truths needs to be updated. Now, the way we look at it is this. It's not about whether or not God was the creator, but rather how he created. It's not a question of whether original sin, this Adam and Eve story, is true or not, but our understanding of how that played out. So it's growing in our understanding of perennial truth.
I think that's an interesting explanation there. And I think also if it were determined, Father, that would be an earthquake, would it not?
It would be, and especially if the Vatican were involved in accepting that. I think we have to make sure that science is not in some way ideologically driven. We have to make sure that faith and religion is not ideologically driven. Faith and reason, they go together.
Well, you represent the Church very well in this segment here. Now, I know they've had the conference. When they determine something, if they do, come on back, okay? Father Jonathan Morris.
If I see anything, I'll tell you.
Done.
Thank you.
Phone home.
Galileo's ears just perked up.
Right. I feel like suddenly I need to eat like Reese's Pieces.
Oh.
You remember?
Oh, I do. That's what E.T. wanted, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Did you see that the global Muslim population hit 1.57 billion with a B? The global Muslim population, 1.57 billion.
I was gonna touch on that. They're saying it's now 1 out of every 4 people in the world.
So like
up from 1 in 5. Now that may not sound like much, but
no, that is.
Yeah,
because
20% of the world's population up to 25% of the world's population.
So that means, tying this back to the Nobel Peace Prize, that 5 people vote on. One of those people is Muslim.
That's correct.
I wonder which one it is.
At least one of those people is Muslim. It's possible 2 are.
I wonder which one it is.
I don't know.
Can we ask?
Yes. Can you find out who voted on the award?
It's on the internet. The internet's on computers now.
It is on computers now.
Yeah, that's just an amazing statistic. 1.57 billion people.
Yep. Coming up on episode 4 of Time and Space, we're going to be talking about the now really incredibly famous, I mean, even if it's just underground, it's incredibly famous on Podcast Alley and iTunes. We'll be talking about the Mysterious Universe podcast, which has resurfaced after a few months off. Benjamin Grundy, who just actually friended me on Facebook a few days ago, I was pretty happy to see that.
Any relation to Solomon Grundy?
Is hopefully going to be our guest.
Do you know who Solomon Grundy is?
His co-host Aaron Wright will also join us. No. Who's Solomon Grundy?
Solomon Grundy was one of the evil people, one of the bad guys, one of the villains, so to speak, on the Justice League of America cartoon. He was the...
There was actually a character named Solomon Grundy?
I believe so.
Wow.
I'm...
All right. Just another big brain pull.
Yeah, he was the Justice League, and the evil guys flew around in like a Darth Vader helmet.
Yes.
with like
helmet.
With like seaweed dropping off of it. It was quite the show.
Very good.
And every time there was something good, it made this really cool noise. It was...
Coming up on episode 5, we're going to be speaking with Stephen Bassett, the executive director of Paradigm Research Group, and talk to him about X Conference 2010 coming up in the spring up in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I was able to attend X Conference 2009. It was a sensational event, and we'll be talking to Stephen not only about his success over the past few years with the conference, but what we can look forward to at the next edition of it.
Hello?
What's up?
Hey, man.
Sorry about that. I am recording this. I'm going to do this right out of the gate. I'm recording this because I have reached the end of a spectacular episode 3 that has so much stuff jam-packed into it that we were asked by the radio station to put together 57-minute segments, and I have, let's just say theoretically we're talking about a 4-hour show. That would be 4 57-minute segments. I have more than 5.5 hours of material that I have put together and am calling it episode 3. 5.5 hours of stuff. So if you're hearing this, you would have just heard reports on the Vatican and the amazing increase in the Muslim population. The Vatican news reports, at least one of those, is courtesy of Fox News, the Vatican Astrobiology Conference that just went on, some of the details from that. We also did a report, this was from a recording with Howard from back in, I guess, early October about the major increase in the Muslim population. And one of the reasons I wanted to record an extra news story here was to actually go back to episode 2, which you, Mr. Kirk, would remember from back in September over at Howard's.
Yes.
He had tried to cover a couple of other news stories. I've got them actually right here. The first one is from Reuters of India. This is from September 18th. The Iranian president raises the stakes against Israel. And I quote, "The pretext, the Holocaust, for the creation of the Zionist regime of Israel is false. It's a lie based on an unprovable and mythical claim." He told worshippers at Tehran University at the end of an annual anti-Israel Jerusalem Day rally. Confronting the Zionist regime is a national and religious duty. This, of course, is President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad of Iran. And anybody who doesn't seem to think that the guy is an actual threat, as this story has continued to drag on for a couple of years, is clearly just not paying attention, because the guy is telling us point blank what it is that he's up to. This regime of Israel will not last long. Do not tie your fate to it. This regime has no future. Its life has come to an end, he said in a speech broadcast live on state radio. Western powers are concerned by what they've called Tehran's defiance and point-blank refusal to suspend uranium enrichment and address the issue as demanded by the UN Security Council resolutions that date back to 2006. Diplomats familiar with the Iranian proposal said it was vague and didn't appear to pass the smell test, as they put it. And this article, of course, goes on and on. But definitely his open and blatant threats are something to be concerned with. More news that Howard had pulled from back then. This from the New York Times, September 19th, 2009, by Alan Cowell. Amid protests, the Iranian leader calls Holocaust a myth. Exact same kind of a thing. Several reports quoted him as saying the Holocaust was false pretext for the establishment of Israel in 1948. It is a lie, he says, based on an unprovable and mythical claim. The regime has no future. Its life has come to an end. So clearly, Ahmadinejad, whether he's getting his information from his own, little fairies in his brain or the mullahs that are controlling that country, I think one way or another, it's seriously, it's just one of these things that people have to take very seriously. Earlier in the week, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton said the country's nuclear program would be at the top of the American agenda. Iran says it has a number of issues it wishes to discuss with us, Mrs. Clinton told reporters, but what we're concerned about discussing with them are the questions surrounding their nuclear program and ambitions. We have no illusions about the Iranian government, Mrs. Clinton said. The point is to meet and explain to the Iranians face-to-face the choices that Iran has and to see whether Iran is prepared to engage. Finally, from Breitbart.com, an AP news break from September 17th, nuke agency says Iran can make bomb. Experts at the world's top atomic watchdog are in agreement that Tehran has the ability to make a nuclear bomb and is on the way to developing a missile system able to carry an atomic warhead, according to a secret report seen by the AP. The document drafted by senior officials at the IAEA is the clearest indication yet that the agency's leaders share Washington's views on Iran's weapons-making capabilities. It appears to be the so-called secret annex on Iran's nuclear program that Washington says is being withheld by the IAEA's chief. The document says Iran has, quote, sufficient information to build a bomb. It also says Iran is likely to overcome any problems on developing a delivery system. So these stories were done by Howard way back on episode 2, and I thought that I would throw them into this sort of religion desk that I had put together for the end of this episode. And really, again, this is the conclusion to episode 3, the last kind of drop-in that's being recorded. It's actually November 21st, so a full, I guess, 3 months after we had kind of set out and started trying to record this thing. In fact, parts of it actually date all the way back to June for episode 2, so it's kind of been an amazing run. But Mr. Kirk, while I have you on the phone and I can say it to you, I want to say thanks for all the work and contributions and patience and everything that you guys have all had with me. As hopefully Faye and Howard are going to hear this, and my beautiful wife and other various people who've had patience with me and have helped cooperate. David and Patrick from Brain Fang, a number of others that have sort of thrown in a little bit to see what would happen with this. So I'm very, very happy to be finally finishing this episode. I'm very eager to get it recorded and pass it to you guys, and I just really want to say thanks, and I hope you all very much enjoy it. So coming up on episode 4, we're going to be talking to Benjamin Grundy and Aaron Wright, a conversation Tim and I had with our buddies from Australia. They are the hosts of the Mysterious Universe podcast. Can't wait to get that episode out. And episode 5, we just did an interview with Stephen Bassett from Paradigm Research Group about X Conference 2010 and Disclosure. We also have a couple of other terrific interviews that are coming up that are actually backdated a little bit, but they're certainly worth circulating. One is with Dr. Michael Salla, a pioneer in the development of exopolitics, the founder and director of the Exopolitics Institute. You can find out more about Michael Salla at exopolitics.org. Salla has written several books, including one that sort of jumped out at me here that I hadn't seen. This one apparently is from 1993, Islamic Radicalism, Muslim Nations and the West. So check out work by Michael Salla. We'll be getting that interview out as soon as possible. We also have an interview coming up on an episode with Richard Dolan, the author of UFOs in the National Security State, Volumes 1 and 2. In 2009, Richard completed Volume 2 of this historical study, subtitled The Cover-Up Exposed, 1973 to 1991. And he's also published articles and spoken at conferences around the world. I caught up with him a couple months back, and that interview was quite interesting, including a lengthy discussion of 9/11 that I can't wait to sort of get out there and get some feedback on. So hope you, Kirk, and everybody else have enjoyed not only making this episode, but I'm sure you're just going to be thrilled to hear it. So that's a great final drop-in for this news desk that's on the tail end of Hour 5 here of Episode 3, the obligatory episode about Stanton Friedman. Time and space, 22nd Century Radio, unidentified entertainment. Kirk, you got any last words for the fans?
I just want to say that go Cats.
That's perfect. That's
really all I can say.
That's right. Well, they just got scored on, apparently. I'm looking over at the TV and see that it's tied up. So
other than that, I would be I would be terrible if I didn't say that I was rooting for Ireland and how they got hosed.
Yeah.
But
well, like I say, we got to go back on one of these upcoming episodes. There's plenty of hours to pick from where we can just go ahead and drop one in. So we'll do a full hour on the World Cup, on the draw, on the way that these groups shook out, who's in, who's out, and all that type of stuff. I'm not sure which episode it'll get packed into, but we'll make sure everybody knows about it when we do it. So
absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely. That sounds good.
This is Time and Space with your host, Mike Smith.
And American education, for example. When you live outside the borders, you can get some different views about how good it is. So, on the UFO scene, I am pleased with the response I get. I've been back to some colleges 5 times. I get an awful lot of people. Well, as an illustration of that, I was on Coast to Coast Radio, big audience. And I offered a free list of books and papers and videos and stuff. Send a self-addressed stamp, number 10 envelope to Post Office, Stan Friedman, Post Office Box 958, Olton, Maine, 04730-0958. I got 1,000 requests, all but 5 of the envelope. Thank goodness. What was intriguing to me was that I got over 200 Post-it notes with little comments. Keep up the good work, or I've been following your work for 40 years, or 30 years, or 20 years, and I'm so glad somebody's doing what you're doing, and always pleased to hear you on Coast to Coast. I don't trust everybody on there, but I do trust, it's a hidden constituency, if you will. And so that gives me feedback. Somebody's listening. That's the thing about radio. You don't get feedback if you're not on a live program, and even when it's live, you know that only a small fraction of the people who call in get on the air, and you don't know how representative they are. So I feel that I've served a useful function, in other words, in trying to make people aware that there are respectable, responsible people with a sense of humor who can provide facts and data and solid information. They don't need to depend on the noisy negativists or the tabloids, the charismatic hand wavers. There is data. And if 1,000 people were willing to waste 2 stamps and addressed 2 envelopes. I mean, if I had said just send a postcard or something, I'd have had 10,000, you know. But they had to take a little trouble, and that's a good sign that they're willing to do that. So I'm still enthusiastic. I'm still optimistic. I still haven't spent overnight in the hospital, and I'm 70 years old, so I think I'm going to go on for a while. I mean, I might get hit by a truck tomorrow, you know, who knows. But, what I mean is I have not really turned off. And I'm looking forward. There's going to be, I just did a new chapter to add on to Top Secret Magic in my book about MJ-12 stuff. And that'll be out in September. And I have an outline for a new book, Flying Saucers and Science. And I haven't really been working hard on it, but something good may come out of the fact. Crazy thing happened. I got a call to provide a 500-word article. They are already here for a booklet that's going to be distributed when War of the Worlds is shown. The new production, Steve Spielberg and Tom Cruise. I think it's the end of June. And they're going to publish 2 million copies of a little booklet, a lot of advertising and stuff. But they're going to include my article. They came to me, which was nice. And they insisted I put more humor than was in my first version. It's mainly a young audience, one suspects. But I have mentioned my website on there. And 2 million people, that's a lot of free advertising, you know. So just the fact that they wanted that article, that they came to me as scientists instead of a lot of other people they could have gone to, that makes me optimistic. I mean, I'm not a science fiction guy. I read it when I was 12, you know, and I opted more for real people and real science. But I feel that reaching the young people in the world, which it certainly will, is a good place to start.
You look in the sky a lot?
He's gone? He's not gone! That's the whole point! He's never gone! Is this some radical new therapy? You see?
This is Time and Space with your host, Mike Smith.
WKPW, Kingsport West, Washington DC.